So what they have done with DAX is very similar to the functions that we have used in Excel. It includes functions used in Excel as well as ones which can be used on tables and other solutions. Fundamentally, what Microsoft has done is it went into all the products that it had.
Okay.
SQL Server, Azure, then they had this MSBI, like I had told you earlier, MSBI, which is SSAS and all those. SQL Server, everywhere, Excel, all those functions it has collated in one single place.
Okay.
And it is being remarketed as DAX. Don't get confused thinking or don't get worried thinking what is DAX and there's a lot of things behind it. It is exactly similar to how we use functions in Excel.
Okay.
Same, similar. Concept is similar. The actual code behind that function is written inside it. We need not worry about the code at all. All we have to do is just call the right function and give it in the format that it wants.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
So DAX is nothing but a library of functions and operators that can be combined to build formulas and expressions in different tools.
Okay.
Things like Power BI, Power Pivot, SSAs, Tabular Model, Azure Analysis Services. These were all the other different products that Microsoft had. So it pulled everything together and put it in a single place and called it as DAX.
Right.
There are primarily two types of DAX. One is called a calculated column. One is called a measure.
Okay.
Okay. So what is a calculated column? It is an additional column alongside existing column.
Okay.
Data is stored for each row. As data is stored, hence it consumes space. It stores static data. It has limited analytical capabilities. Compare that with measures. Measure is summarizes the data into a single value. Measures are calculated at runtime.
Okay.
That means okay.
It's not stored. Yeah.
Yes. Data is stored temporarily. Like when we did that calculation, at that point of time, it did that calculation and displayed it.
Yeah.
Rich analytical capabilities. It can work on related tables and columns. Just now we saw that sum of revenue. Revenue is based on two different tables,
Yeah.
but it is able to fetch you the details.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any questions on this?
No, I got it. That's what you already showed it.
Yes, that's why I came to this later. If I just initially
Yeah.
showed you, you would have probably
Yeah, the-
had other. So these are examples. If you look at it, first one, new column, it is calendar year. That means we are taking the calendar year from the date and we are appending Q to the calendar quarter. So it will say 2024 Q1, 2024 Q2, like that. So it will fetch you for the entire column.
Yeah, got it.
Another example of a new column is column 1 plus column 2. Like we had revenue minus cost. You can answer the phone.
It's okay. Someone just wants to talk.
Oh,
They
okay.
want to take it right now.
Okay, then it's fine.
Yeah, they have lots of time.
Yes. So the other example is net profit. Like we did profit, revenue minus cost. So it will do for every row that you have in the table.
Okay.
Compare that with measures. What does measure do? Measure is the total sales equal to sum of new sales amount plus sum of past sales amount. That means there are two tables. One table is new sales, another table is past sales.
And the column is amount.
Yes,
Right?
yes. And you are adding up the grand total.
Total sales. We are adding the total sales, right?
Yes, yes.
But but in Power BI, you wrote some other formulas. Some, then you put two brackets.
It depends. Actually, if I'm using within the Power BI itself, these are just examples. It will follow based on the format that it is supposed to follow. Okay. Now, these things you can, like I was telling you initially, some of these things can be done through Excel as well. Okay. So there might be a slight difference between the formats in Excel and Power BI, but overall the concept is the same. Table name followed by the column name.
Yeah. Okay.
Profit margin is you divide the profit by sales, round it to 0 decimal points. That is your total profit margin.
Okay.
So these are examples of measure. Measure will always come up with one number. Column, calculated column on the other hand will be calculated for each row. See, here is an example of a calculated column.
Okay. Date and time.
I'm saying today, so it is fetching me today's date. So if I go to my Power BI now and I do today, it will do it for every column, every row. Okay, it will do it for every row. End of month. I'm taking the orders date and doing end of month.
Yeah.
Another example. Here we are doing sum of cost. This cost column is there. Calculated column is nothing but the sum of this
One
cost.
second, I'll just pick that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry for this.
No problem. So this is an example of the calculated column. Now look, this is the example of the measure.
Total number of customers. Let's see.
There are 5 customers, so we are taking a distinct count of the customer ID.
Okay. Full count. Okay.
Here's another example, total profit. See, the measures are showing below. In Excel, it shows you below.
I can see the total distinct count.
Okay. Next, look at this. Sum of the orders, and that is orders profit we have, and we are taking a sum of all the orders profit,
Okay.
which is coming out to be the total profit. So sum of profit column from the orders table.
Okay.
Here's another example. Average profit per customer. That means what? Total profit divided by total number of customers.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This one is a little bit difficult. So it's not difficult, but
It's
the
just
format
understanding
is
actually. Once you do it, you will get an
Yeah.
understanding of it. Not a problem.
Yes. With you use only I can
Exactly.
because the formats it should be in my head because otherwise
No, I generally advise, it's not always possible to remember all the formulas.
yes.
Okay. So you
Okay.
can start by doing the approach, and then, once you do that, you will be able to, you will get the drop down. From the drop down, you pick up the best. Now, see this example that we had about the number of customers. One approach is like I did, count of the names.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
in some cases, you might have the name repeated.
Twice.
Why? Because maybe there is another customer with the same name.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah.
So your value in that case will be duplicate. So you will not get correct ones.
Okay.
It might be that customer ID is a better option. Might be. That's why I'm saying might be, depending on your data.
Got it.
That is why in this example that I showed you, there we were looking at distinct customer ID.
Yeah.
Customer ID will be unique if I take it from my customer table.
It will not be duplicated anywhere.
Yes. But if I take it from my orders table, same customer can have multiple orders.
Okay. Yeah.
So customer ID will be repeated.
Yeah. Then we'll go to the order ID maybe.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to the here. If I were to again go back and go back to the table view, see these measures that you see here, you will not see them as a column, but you will see them over here.
In the report view.
Yes, in that model, you will see them. It will come as a measure like this. See, the icon here is different. If it is a measure, it will come out as with the calculator thing.
Okay.
Okay. And if we are looking at, let's say, revenue per order, see, it is a calculated column. That means the symbol is different.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So be careful about the how the columns are showing up, right? Now here we had this other example we saw there. Suppose you have a new column here like this, and I come here and I say today, and I press enter. See what the system does.
Okay. Okay.
So it got me the current date. So it got me the current date. So if I now rename it, I can say current date. If I want the year along with this, I can say new column.
It's already suggesting this, right?
Correct. Correct. Here from the date. So here you can say orders date or orders current date, whichever column you want. Let's say orders date and I press enter. So it will get me the year only from the
orders date. It's showing error.
Okay, see, it just fetched me the year. The date was 2020. This is 2019, so it fetched me 2019. This is a calculated column. Every column, it is acting on every row. Now let's add another column. We'll say new column and we want the quarter.
Okay.
And we want the quarter from
Quarter date.
yes. Date. First quarter, second quarter, fourth quarter, third quarter, like that. So I can now rename it to quarter number.
Now we can also select that how many products were sold in fourth quarter, right?
Yes. This will be used for further analysis. So once you get the data, then you can build your further analysis, charts, graphs, and all those things. Then if you remember the example that we had, so here what we will do, we will combine these two. So we'll say here, append with maybe Q, append with quarter. So if I want a little bit of space here, I'll put a space. Whatever. Right?
So orders here I got. So and then orders quarter. So why you are clicking on date?
No. My cursor is here. That's it.
Okay. Sorry. So it's showing 20. 2020 Q1.
Now, one thing I'm just as a warning, sometimes if the format is not okay, or accidentally there might be some additional things here, or let's say I'll not mess with this. I'll create that. Let's say I'm just saying year and I press enter. I close the bracket and I say enter. See, it returns an error. Don't panic. Here, it is giving you a message.
Yeah.
Two few arguments. That means it is expecting something else within it.
Okay.
So this way you try to identify what is the cause. That will give you more confidence. Unless you get an error, you will not be able to do full, you will not get that full confidence. Worst case, what will happen? You will delete it. No issues. Just go ahead. If there is something wrong, delete that column.
If I want to add sales per quarter, so how will I do it?
Now, sales per quarter. So what you will need? You will need the sales amount and you will need the quarter. But this quarter one will be repeated in every year.
Yeah.
So that is why you probably need the year and the quarter.
Yeah.
Right? So in these cases, what you will have to do is you can go to this report view. There is also a table type of visual. And then you can get sales. So sales, you need units sold.
Yeah.
But you need it per quarter. So for that, you will have to look at the years and quarter. See, does it fulfill your requirement?
Yeah. So what is this report view called?
This is the visual report view, normal report view, where we do the visuals. Same place. Yeah. This visual is called the table.
Okay, the table.
So these things is something that you will have to investigate. You may not have a ready answer.
Yeah.
So couple of times this is what our work will be, that we might have to do this multiple times.
Yeah.
Now, before you do this kind of data, this kind of visual or this kind of analysis, you need the columns to be ready. See, I didn't have the year and quarter, but I had to derive it based on my date. And same thing, if I now want a bar chart or I want a column chart, I'll just do this same thing, unit sold, and maybe year and quarter wise. So my visual is also now ready. So shall we do a quick revision?
Yeah.
First step, what did I do? I first created the data model. How did I create the data model? I loaded these Excel sheets into my Power BI data model. Then I created the links between the tables, connections between the tables. Between this and this, this and this.
Yes, sir.
So this
either by dragging or
yes.
with new relationship.
Yes, either by managed relationship, and I can create, or I can use auto detect also. There's a problem. The issue with auto detect is it may not sense everything.
Yeah.
Unless the names are exactly same. Sometimes we don't often get same names. In case you don't get same names, then you will have to do them manually.
Yeah.
After doing this, my connections are ready. Then I go to my report table view and create the columns that I will need. Columns, these are the calculated columns. Calculated columns are calculated for each row.
Yeah.
So every row will have some data, some units or calculations based on individual values.
Yeah.
There are two, this is one of the DAX expressions. So DAX expressions are of two types. One is a calculated column, one is a measure.
Yeah.
Calculated column works on every row of the data.
Yeah.
DAX will work, the measures will be like a summary function or a collective function. It works on all the rows and comes up with one value.
Yeah.
Okay. Now these measures that we do, measures will be visible in the data model here as separate columns. So when I go to this model view also, here I can see my measures here.
Yeah.
But the data will not be visible.
Yeah.
Data is only visible when I put it in a visual for measures. For measures. Calculated columns, we can see it alongside the regular data.
Yeah. You said that to see measurables, we need to go to report view and then click card, right?
Yes. So I can use a table, I can use a data card like this. So this is like a measure. So measures, usually what we do is we can also rename them. Okay. So when I go to this, later on when we do visuals, I'll show that to you separately. Like when you come here, you can say, title, you can give number of
customers.
Yes. So it will come at the top.
Okay.
Then you can have this.
Yeah.
Now, if in case you don't want this measure, then you can come here. You can see whether there is the category. So this measure is switched off. So it will say number of customers. You can drag it and bring it at the top also, so that they are visible right here. This is total revenue. And you can generate your graphics as needed. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to our table view. Here, when we are doing these calculations, suppose it is a measure, I can say new measure and I can write the measure over here. If I don't get enough space, I can click on this small arrow here. Can you see this arrow? Click here,
Yeah.
you will get the full window here to write.
Okay.
And this is the way in which we will be writing out our DAX related functions.
Okay.
Then once your measures are done, you can generate calculated columns like this. Current date is using the function of today.
Yeah.
Year is using the function of year, followed by which column?
Yeah,
Year
that
of
is
which
indeed.
date? Yeah, I could have got the year of current date also, but that will not be of any help because it will always fetch
Yeah.
show me today's date only.
Yeah.
Quarter, it will give me the quarter number based on the date.
Um, and then there is I saw that when you click table tools, then there is a quick measure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And then can you click quick measure, new measure? Then there was another measure table as well.
this one.
This is quick new, yeah. New measure and quick measure, right? New measure manual, quick measure automatic. I saw measure table as well. I'll practice them and then find it out, then I'll.
Yeah. So here you see this one I created based on what the system is giving as a quick measure. So what is that quick measure? It said average per category.
Yeah.
So where is that category coming from? Category is coming from the table cookie types. I'm taking the category cookie type.
Yeah.
So that is my category. And
Yeah.
that is the base value based on which I'm going to get the number of units sold. And then say add. So I will get that. Now this entire calculation that you have here for this cookie, for this calculate measure, you can see this over here.
These are coming around measure two. That's what I was talking about. There are two tools, one table tools and one measure tool.
So when you click on the measure, only then the measure tools will come.
Yeah.
You click outside, it goes. So again, you click on the measure, then the measure tools will. So quick measure is there to help you create something. The system will prompt you for the information, and then you can supply the information and system will show it to you.
Yeah.